So for our purposes, when you're doing a phone or Skype interview, it's really important to understand how phone and Skype interviews are similar to traditional interviews or face-to-face interviews, but also how they're different, and you need to be able to master both. So let's talk about how they're the same. And it might surprise you, but how they're same is, one way is that first impression, right? You think about it, you're at an office, you're going face-to-face, you shake somebody's hand, they have that first impression of you. It's actually the same over a telephone or a Skype call when it's done remotely. Are you on time? How's the greeting when you're talking to them on the phone? Are you have energy? Do you have that almost invisible handshake, that energy and that whole excited to be there for the interview? Doing that small talk thing at the beginning. Those are all very same as far as those first impressions. In fact, it's important to smile and all that when you're doing a phone or Skype interview. Skype, they can actually see your face, so it's important to be at your professional best and dress your professional best on a Skype interview. But even on a phone interview, smiling helps you to relax your muscles and be more enthusiastic naturally. There's tons of studies that show that over and over again. If you've been in sales, you know the whole power of smiling when you're making telephone sales calls. I would also recommend that you dress for success. Don't be in your pajamas or lounging around, even if it's a telephone call. Get in like in your interview outfit. Get like you're treating it like a regular interview. You'll feel more energized, you'll feel more professional, and you'll do better on your interview. Another part how they're the same is they'll ask you the same questions. It might lean more towards like a screening interview if you get an early in the interview process, like any screening interview, whether it's face-to-face or over, let's say, a telephone call. But it's the same questions that they'll ask you. There's no special questions necessarily for phone and Skype calls, other than they might be more likely to be a screening interview-oriented type question. And then there's an element of professionalism too, but with that extra technology component. You're still a pro, you're still a professional, and you're showing how you can use technology and that you're comfortable with technology as far as doing these types of interviews. Now, how are they different? How are phone and Skype interviews or webinar interviews, how are they different? Well, obviously, you're not at the interviewer's location. So you're at your home or wherever you're doing the interview from. So you can't necessarily see their body language, at least all their body language, depending on the video of the call, if there is a video on the call. And that's a little bit of a difference. So you might not see the body language. Maybe you can see some facial expressions, which are really good as far as indicating how the interview is going or asking questions. They can also see your facial expressions if you're doing like a Skype call. And you don't have the ability, because you're not on a location, to look around the office or things for clues or things that might indicate where you can do some small talk around maybe a book that's on a shelf or something, or other types of clues about what's important to the organization. You don't have that ability with a phone or Skype call. You also need to speak very, very clearly because it's going over telephone lines or over the internet or whatever it might be. So speaking clearly without just painfully enunciating anything, hi, my name is Steve. Just be natural, but understand that you do need to speak clearly as part of that. And then just like any interview situation, you want to be descriptive and specific with your answers, concise, but be descriptive with them. But in a phone or Skype interview, because they don't see your body language and all that as much, or maybe at all, you need to really be vivid with your descriptions and really paint that picture. Just like if you're listening to the radio or something, you're getting your own mind's eye as far as what's happening. Same deal with phone and Skype interviews. And you really need to really be concise and specific, but really paint that picture. Let them have a really good understanding of what you're talking about. And if you're not sure, ask for understanding. Like, did that make sense to you? Or was I able to answer your question? Or did I, just to make sure that is all comfortable with the interviewer and for you when they move on to the next question. And then lastly, with any interview, but particularly phone Skype interviews, is just to be relaxed, to be easygoing, and to be a pro. Understand that many of your competition, who maybe didn't take this course or whatever, or have less experience with phone and Skype interviews, might be very, very nervous on those types of interviews because it's new to them. If you practice some, do some of the tips here in the course, you're going to be fine, and that actually will give you an advantage. So be relaxed and be a pro, and show how that you can use technology to your advantage and to the organization's advantage, and how you're professional, whether you're face-to-face or remotely in a virtual interview.